What's up, Lifestyles? Kingdom Barber here, back with another one. Today's video is going to be a series on how to build up your clientele. So if that sounds interesting to you guys, make sure you guys stay tuned, especially if you're an up and coming, new, beginning barber. This is something that you definitely need to watch, guys. I'm going to share with you guys on my secret on the way I build up my clientele. So I wanted to do this series on how to build up clientele because I know in the beginning stages, especially if you're just getting out of school or you're just starting to do haircuts, that it can be a little difficult. It's kind of hard to get people to trust you to cut their hair, especially if you're a beginner barber. But I wanted to share with you guys my journey on how I did it. I know that you may see some other barbers out there, they may say, yeah, you get your cards and you go out and you pass them out, which is a great idea. I don't knock that at all. I encourage you guys to do that if you can do that. I'm more of a person that's more quiet, more to myself, and it's kind of hard to go out and just talk to random people. It's not an easy thing for me to do. Even me doing this YouTube channel, it was something that I wanted to push myself out of my comfort zone. Me learning how to do this YouTube and talking to you guys has definitely helped me grow as a person, because I know that there's more people like me than there are, when you see these other big YouTubers that have big personalities. I'm not this big personality guy. I'm just a regular guy that just loves to cut hair. And I just wanted to share with you guys my experience on how I got started on building up my clientele. So this video is going to be part one of a 2-series on how to build up your clientele. Number one is going to be more about my journey on how I built up my clientele. And the second part is going to be more on the basic fundamentals. And I actually wrote down some of the things that we will be talking on the second part of the video. And this is going to be on number one, quality service, networking, social media presence, offering promotions, especially if you're a new up and coming barber, customer referrals, professionalism, continuing education, building relationships. So my journey with cutting hair started very young. I had my interest in it when I was like in middle school. I started experimenting like on my cousin's hair. I was cutting their hair, and we had clippers around the house, and I just used those random clippers. They're probably like wall clippers back in the day. And I think the first cut I ever did was not too bad of a job because it was something that just came a little easy. That first time I ever used some clippers and cut my cousin's hair, it kind of really motivated me to want to do it more. I probably would have been more discouraged if I messed them up. But because it turned out okay, and I was really impressed on what I did. I'm more of a visual learner, so when I see it, then I'm able to do it. So that's where my love for cutting hair started from, just kind of experiment on relatives. Fast forward from all of that. So I worked a lot of jobs, but most of the jobs that I've ever worked was more of hospitality. I worked as a bartender in Las Vegas at Caesar's Palace for over 10 years plus. That's why I really learned a lot about hospitality. At the end of the day, there's so many barbers out there. There's barbers on every corner. Barbers come a dime a dozen. The most important thing is on how you treat your clients. We'll get into a lot of that on the next series, but I just wanted to kind of give you guys a background on my life and kind of where I came from. So I was actually born in California, moved out when I was a kid. And so I'm Vegas and I'm also LA. And so now I'm back in California, in the Valley to be exact. So if you guys in the Valley, come check me out. And so when I first moved out here, of course, like second nature to me, I get a bartending job. And I was working at the Dodger Stadium. I was doing that for a couple of years until I passed my barbering school. It took me a long time, guys, to pass my school. The school that I went to, they didn't do financial aid, so everything came out of my pocket. I would go to work, then go to school, and it took me a long time to do that. The teacher that I had was really cool and was able to work with me on my scheduling, especially because I was still bartending at Dodger Stadium. So I wasn't able to do it full time. So there was the money issue, and then also being able to be at school for full time. It was a struggle for me, but I got through it, and I'm glad that I went through all those hard times because it made me appreciate barbering even more. So on the weekends, I have friends in Hollywood, and they're in the music business. So I would go to their house, and I would cut up about 3 or 4 guys every weekend, and that'll also help me to, get money in my pocket to also pay off my school. One of the guys in particular on this day, his wife, or girlfriend at the time, she worked for Floyd's barbershop. I wasn't too familiar with Floyd's because they don't have a Floyd's in Las Vegas, so I never even heard of Floyd's barbershop. But Floyd's barbershop is basically, in my opinion, is more of like a upgraded supercuts, except for it's a little bit more barbering. A lot of those hairstylists and barbers, they come from supercuts, but it is a great place to start off if you are a new up and coming barber and just got out of school. So that day when I was cutting my buddy's hair, his girlfriend at the time, she asked me where I worked, and I said I'm not working at anywhere. So she asked me I should come work at Floyd's barbershop. I said that I don't have my license yet, and I had like a few hundred hours left to get my license, and so she suggested that I work front desk. So I decided that, you know what, I don't want to do this long drive all the way to the Dodger Stadium. Even though I love bartending, I need to start focusing on cutting hair and learning the business. And so I ended up going to Floyd's barbershop, and I worked the front desk. Now here I am, a guy who knows how to cut. Well, at least I think I know how to cut. And I'm seeing all the other people that work at Floyd's cut hair, and some are great, some are okay. That was a very humbling experience for me because I really had to humble myself. Even though I'm feeling like I'm the greatest barber in the world, here I am, I still don't have my license, and I'm working front desk. So working at Floyd's barbershop, and again guys, this is no plug for Floyd's. They're not paying me to say this. You were wondering that. There's no plug here for Floyd's. I'm just telling you guys my journey on how I started. But anyway, back to the story. So me working at Floyd really helped my career because I learned the inside of a barber shop before I ended up opening up my own barber shop. I learned how to work the books as far as scheduling appointments, taking phone calls, cleaning up the shop, sweeping the floor, folding towels. I did all the grunt work, guys. And again, very humbling experience. I did learn a lot doing that. When I opened up my own shop, all that experience that I had working at Floyd's, I was able to transfer all that information over to my own barbershop, which is called Razor Palace. And the reason why I named my barbershop Razor Palace is because it was a homage to Caesar Palace where I worked at. So Caesar Palace, Razor Palace. So if you guys haven't already figured that out, I love bartending there, and they're not paying for this either. So there's no plug for them as well. I'm just giving you guys my humble beginning. So fast forwarding everything. So I work at Floyd's as a front desk person. Now I finally get my barber license. That was a day I was really proud of and just so extremely happy because prior to then, I've never even worked at any barbershop. You know, I was just one of those type of persons that I did not want to work at a barbershop without a license. I just didn't want to start my career that way. I know guys, especially when I was in school, they were working at barbershops and they just get comfortable. Some of those guys didn't even come back to school. They just got comfortable and stayed at that barbershop and they never did get their license. And when I started seeing that, I'm like, you know what? I did not want to do that. Even though it tempted me, I really did want to do it. But I just said, you know what? I'm going to just stick to what I know. I want to get my barber's license. I want to do this for real. Working at a chain barbershop really helped me to be a little bit more on the corporate side because when you work at neighborhood shops, sometimes you can pick up a lot of bad habits from other barbers. Me working at a chain barbershop, I learned a lot of good habits, even though there were some people that did some bad habits too. And the one thing that I've learned, and this is my kind of my little secret, guys, on building up clientele. Those chain barbershops, they have millions of dollars of budgeting as far as promoting their brand. So they're gonna get walk-ins left and right. There's a reason why there's so many supercuts out there. You know, some people may laugh at supercuts like, oh, those cuts suck, oh, they don't know how to cut hair. But let me tell you, the business behind those supercuts and Floyd's barbershop and chain places like that, they keep people coming in. So a lot of those guys, those haircuts are so easy. They do like a number 2, number 1, sometimes number 3 on the sides. So you're doing a lot of easy cuts in those places. A lot of those guys, they just want simple haircuts. They don't want anything crazy. So it's very easy for me to build up my clientele. I built up my clientele at Floyd's barbershop. I want to say within 6 months, my weeks were getting booked out. And so I was able to retain my clientele, which we will talk about that on the second part of this video. But right now, again, it's just a journey on how I got there. So that is one of the secrets that I wanted to tell you guys, especially again, for you up and coming new barbers. If you do know a neighborhood shop that have a lot of walk-ins, then I say yes, go ahead and do it. But if you can find a chain type of a barber shop, I think that is the best place for you to go and get your practice in, because you're gonna get a lot of haircuts and you don't have to do so much marketing, especially in the beginning. So the big thing that really helped me, it was working at a chain barbershop. So if you're up and coming, new, just got out of school and you're wondering where should you work, it worked for me to work in a barber shop that had a big name behind it. And also another good thing about working at a chain barber shop is that you're going to learn how to cut faster. Also, me working at a place like Floyd's Barbershop, they did classes. So they do like a hair cutting class, they did a shave cutting class, they have like a new hire class, also a color class as well. So don't sleep on those chain barbershops because it definitely worked out for me. I learned a lot. And so that's pretty much my beginning journeys on how I built up clientele. So I knew that a chain place wasn't going to be good for me long term, because when you're working for a chain place, it's more of commission. So if you meet your commission, then you get commission, and then if you don't, then you're going to get hourly. So every week I'm damn near getting paid hourly, and I could probably make as much money working at a McDonald's or some fast food restaurant. But because I love barbering, I'm not looking at the numbers at the moment. Right now I'm just trying to get better, cut heads more, and because that's basically how you get better at cutting hair, is by cutting hair. And so I wanted to just get more experience doing all types of texture hair and just getting better as a barber. So I know that it wasn't going to be long term for me. So what I ended up doing is that once I started building up my clientele, I ended up cutting down my hours. So I went from working 5 days at Floyd's to cutting it down to 4 days. And then from 4 days, I went down to 3 days, from 3 days to 2 days. And so I worked the 2 days at Floyd's for a while I'm transitioning all my clients to more of my neighborhood barbershop that I ended up working for. And so I ended up doing that for about almost a year of doing that clients. And I made sure that I wasn't too far away from Floyd's when I ended up going to my neighborhood barbershop. So that was one of the main key things that helped me to build up my clientele, working for a chain barbershop. I really highly suggest you guys to look into maybe one of those chain barbershops, because you're going to get a lot of clientele, you're going to build up a lot of good habits. And again, it's more corporate settings, so sometimes we need that just a little bit. That way, once we go off on our own, we'll kind of have a little bit of that in us. So that's going to be a little bit of my journey on how I started building up my clientele. Now, there's other things along with that. Of course, we will get into that on another video. So we got a lot to get into, guys. That's going to be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If it did help you, please, guys, smash that subscribe button. Give the video a thumbs up, and also follow me on my Instagram page at Kingmelifestyles. And until then, I'll see you guys on the next video.